This video brought to you by jadedpainting.com. If you need your miniatures painted to a tabletop standard, check out jadedpainting.com. Hey everyone, welcome to another painting tutorial. My name is Jay, and today I'll be showing you how to paint this Chaos Chosen model from the new Dark Vengeance starter set. I began with the model prime gray and base coated with Mephiston red, which is a really nice dark red base color. So the next step would be to give it some shading with a Carroburg Crimson shade. This shade will get in all the recesses and provide some really nice depth of color to all the red armor of this Chaos Chosen. And if you do it a very heavy Carroburg Crimson shade, it'll actually almost appear black when it dries. That being said, if after the first shade is completely dried and you're unhappy with the resulting color, feel free to do another shading. Just let the first one dry completely before proceeding to the next one. When the shade was dry, I gave all the armor a first highlight with Evil Sun Scarlet, the first layer color from the Citadel range associated with Mephiston Red. As you will notice, I basically just use an overbrush technique on all these armor areas to make sure that it just picks up on all the edges and the raised areas while leaving the really nice shade in the recesses. This step took a little bit of time, as you can see, as most of the armor is the red color, and you want to get the Evil Sun Scarlet to all of the areas that aren't recesses over the entire armor. I then did a second highlight of the armor with Wild Rider Red, the second layer color associated with Mephiston Red. For this second highlight, I basically just focused on selected raised areas, and I just did an edge highlight over these areas. Basically, you just want to choose which areas of red do you really want to pop when the light hits them. So I tend to focus more on the outermost areas of red. And finally, to tone down the Evil Sun Scarlet and to tie all these nice reds together, I gave it a bloodletter glaze over the entire red armor. Once again, if you are unhappy with the overall color after one glaze, feel free to do another, but let the first one dry completely before proceeding to the second one. I then painted all of the black areas on the model with a Reaper product called Gray Liner. This included his cape, the horn on his helmet, his gun on his belt, and the gaps in the little areas or tubing around his body. I do not use black very often when painting since it's a very dimensionless and boring color. I love this Reaper product since it is a very, very dark matte gray, and under certain light conditions it appears black, but when light hits it right, it actually appears matte gray. If you don't have gray liner, I then recommend using Abaddon Black by GW. As you can see, I also used gray liner to paint all of the gaps in the armor. Though this color is much darker than the red base color, make sure that it gives it very good complete coverage before proceeding to the next step. I did an edge highlight of all of these black areas with Administratum Gray, which is a much lighter gray and will really make the edges pop on the belt and the cape and the gaps in the armor. I then base coated all of the silver metallic areas on the model with lead belcher, which is a fantastic base color and tends to go over almost any color with ease. That being said, make sure you have a nice even coat before proceeding to the shades and the highlights. For the silver areas, I focused on the top parts of the gun, the metallic mesh near his cloak, and the entire gun that's in his hand. I also used lead belcher to paint the spikes on his backpack. I also used lead belcher on all the vents on his backpack. Next, I gave them all a non-oil shading to bring out the really nice details in the mesh armor and the chains. If you want to do a more dirty approach, I recommend a 1-to-1 mix of non-oil and Agrax Earthshade. I just felt that this is a Chaos Chosen, and his guns would be a little bit less dirty, but they still turn out really nicely with just non-oil. And with this step nearing completion, we can turn our attention to finishing up these metallic areas, and then painting the golds and finishing up the entire model.